Greetings and Happy New Year! Anton here with an H3VR devlog, the first of 2021, and I'm just sort of coming out of hibernation after what was certainly an exhausting but fulfilling November and December. I hope you all enjoyed the Meatmas festivities this year. They were certainly the biggest we've ever done, and just barely got it all done in time, but that was a hoot. I'm still sort of in a daze from it all. But anyway, as our first order of business for the new year, it is time to announce the winners of the Future Sosiggun weapon design contest. So this has easily been the biggest contest we've ever had in terms of number of entries. My many thanks to everyone who jumped through all of the hoops with the ridiculous submission form that I made you all fill out for your entries. So we're going to dive right into them. Before we get to, just as a refresher, there were 5 categories of firearm that folks could submit a design proposal for. PDW, designated Markswiener rifle, sidearm, squad level support weapon, and main battle rifle. So, and we got a whole bunch of submissions for each category. In addition to those, which are all going to be made into a Sosiggun, I've added 3 other categories here, which I'm going to find some appropriate way to sort of like to also integrate into the game in some way. I'm still thinking it over, but in terms of what we're going to start with, those sort of added special categories, which I do this every time I do a contest, which is there's the categories I announce ahead of time, and then looking at the entries, I see stuff where I'm like, you know what, I've got to add a category just to give this specific entry a little bit of attention and love. So let's dive right in. We're going to start with the most upvoted entry, our subreddit's choice. So let's switch our camera format over to here with me down in the direction. Yeah, there. Down in the corner here. So let's jump in. Let's see our first award. This is the subreddit's choice. This is the most upvoted entry. And that is the Uzi Nano by Nico Turney from FN Hurts a Lot. This is the ultimate reduction of the Uzi form factor down to about as short as it can go. Absolutely ridiculous concept here. Apparently the action type is shake fire. So I imagine one would load this up with a magazine and hold down the trigger and just go like that as hard as you could. Just slam that firing pin directly into the round. With the, what would that be? I don't know, centimeter length barrel. I don't imagine you'd be hitting anything, but I'm not surprised people like this. Truth be told, this is a ridiculous enough idea that I might just have to, not as a Sosiggun, but just put this in the game proper. This one's going in a folder for April Fool's Day next year. So thank you very much, Nico Turney, for the ridiculous submission. The next category that I decided to add was the most impressive group submission. There were several folks who asked the question early on in this contest, can I submit a proposal for each category? And I was like, sure. I mean, it'd be better to focus your effort on just one because it was a lot of work to put these together. But a couple folk decided to just go full court with it and give us a submission for each of the different weapon categories. And so I wanted to just highlight the specific efforts of that small group. The first of which was the Subwatcher with Stovepipe Industries. As a personal fan of working, do I have my sketchbook here? Of course I don't have mine. This is what happens, prepare for your videos, Anton. But oh no, it's right here. I'm just blind. As someone who also works in graph paper on my sketchbook, these made me smile looking at. So we've got a Stovepipe Industries, very grounded entries in general for them. Lots of bullpups, which we'll forgive. Honestly, I have no problem with bullpups in general, especially with fictional designs like this. It actually makes it a little easier to make them work as Sosiguns. But very nicely done. Thank you for all of the entries, the Subwatcher. In addition, we had Waffle Cat with Waffle Tech Munitions, who also submitted a matched set of entries. Although, yeah, squad level support weapon, unless a shotgun should be a PDW. I'm pretty sure a shotgun does not count as a PDW. Although several people with their submissions decided that it did. And to those people, I recommend in the future using Google, as I don't think there's ever been a single shotgun designated as a PDW. But once again, like really, I felt one of the only folks who made a logo, nicely done logo, and nice matched set of entries. Thank you very much, Waffle Cat. And then next up, we had Corporal Griff, who did all of their entries as attachment builds in H3. This is from Jefferson Arsenal. I have to say this one isn't suppressed, but see, I think all of the other ones were integrally suppressed. It's funny watching someone be able to do a matched set of these and definitely get an idea of what they look for in a firearm. Personally, I love the look of integrally suppressed firearms because it gives that nice big sort of like fat front barrel look that ends up making everything feel so much more like video gamey. So thank you very much for your entries, Corporal Griff. And then lastly, the winner of our most impressive group submission category, who went the extra mile, is Briggs. I think that's how you pronounce that name, with prosciutto arms. Great looking, cool in-game builds, and actually made, many of you might have seen on the subreddit during the contest period. I'm going to play it muted just so that this video doesn't get like taken down on YouTube. But well-edited video showing off the guns to some cool music. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. I would love if Briggs, if you want to share the vault files for your prosciutto arms weapons, I would be happy to post up the TXT links for them for anyone else who wants to download and use in the game your prosciutto arms armory creations. So once again, thanks so much, Briggs. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your Reddit name incorrectly. Our next category, which I added post submissions, is this year's sort of booby prize to a certain extent, in that there were almost everyone followed the instructions of the contest, and then a few people just had to let us know that to them the memes were more important than winning. And so I think it's appropriate that I recognize a few of those submissions with the least gun-like category. The first one here from Procrastinator Scott, I would like to give you the cod piece. I'm just going to stand here and just grab my furrowed brow for a moment while y'all just take that in. Just let that just come in like the tide and just slap you in the forehead. That is, I mean, in a way, it is quite built for the Sosigs. Though the problem is because the stable link of the Sosig is the chest link, whereas the abdomen sort of flops around like some things do. This would be shooting everywhere except where it maybe was desired to, which might be the point. Thank you for just the disturbing imagery and the hilarious concept and great art. Procrastinator Scott. Still technically a gun, but wow. Next up, we have from, where's the account here? Dan T. Man. We have the 4-color pistol pen, which just absolutely shot me back to nostalgia land. I don't know if you Zoomers get these things anymore, but man, this was back when no one had cell phones. This was what we fidgeted with all day, especially because you'd be sitting in your chair and you'd press one down and then you'd try to grab the other ones and sort of see how many of them you could like push most of the way down at once until you inevitably broke it, or like really broke it and actually got a whole bunch of the ink everywhere. So thank you for the wonderful memories. Although, man, I'm glad that I didn't have a 22 caliber cartridge in my 4-color pistol pen. I would really love an explanation though for how it's supposed to still work with the bullet in there. Like, is it still a pen at all? I don't know if it's still technically a 4-color pistol pen if it can't actually work that way. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but as zip guns go, it's a pretty one. So thank you very much for your submission, Dan T. Man. And then last, our winner of the least gun-like submission goes to Dense Cabbage, with their submission from Thornton & Co. Scrap Merchants, the Thornton LJAH. Yes, that's right. The Thornton LJAH is literally just a hammer. Alright, enough with the goofy categories. It's time to dive in and see some guns that are actually going to get made into guns in H3. That's right, it's time for our first category, the PDW category. This category absolutely got the largest number of entries, I think precisely because just like PDW is this kind of cool concept, and like, let's be frank, there's not that many of them. In many ways, it's sort of a failed concept if you think about it, because so many different militaries that would have maybe used a PDW in the past are just like, have them use an M4. We've got a lot of stuff for that. But it certainly inspired many folks' imagination in this contest. So there were a lot of entries to decide from. Frankly put, all 5 of these categories were really difficult to pick final winners from. So, but anywho, let's dive into them. In 3rd place from Ahia Arms from Akaram, we have the AI AR9 with some absolutely gorgeous looking pixel art for it. Let's just take those in. Love the like blueprint details for it. Ergonomic Sosiggun comfort grip, ejection port and charging handle, flexible rear iron sight. A very, very solid entry. Cool looking art. Maybe if I were to critique it, maybe a little long for PDW. I definitely think that out of all of the categories of entries for this contest, the one that definitely had the most confused entries was the PDW. A couple people submitted shotguns. I'm like, that's not what a PDW is. Lots of people using like 45 ACP for the round. I'm like, I wouldn't call a heavy low velocity round really a PDW round. It's all right. We're all not equally sick here in terms of the amount of like gun knowledge that we have absorbed. So all is forgiven. But very nice entry. Thank you again, Akaram, for the sweet entry, the sweet art for it. In 2nd place for PDW, we have an entry from Lotus 1788, Lotus Pulse Arms. I give you the personal defense box. This one, I love the concept behind this. Once again, still too long for a PDW, I think. But the goofy concept of being a sort of a frame and bolt group and trigger that just pops right over one of those green ammo boxes. I just saw this and I'm like, yup, someone's going to make an airsoft gun out of this. Someone's going to make a kit where they're going to see this image at some point and they're going to be like, you know what? I can put a gearbox in that and I can carry just thousands of rounds. Just like maybe have it have a pre-chamber so you just fire it a bunch and turn it upside down and shake it like that. And just go ahead and carry your entire day's ammunition at once onto the field. Obviously, if this were real bullets, the loading mechanism is a little unclear, but fun concept. Love the art. Nicely done. Thank you for the entry, Lotus 1788. Personal defense box. And then the winner of our PDW category, the gun that is going to be turned into a Sosiggun for our future Sosig next generation Sosiggun trials in PDW is the Desert Vulture from the Snowman. A absolutely beautiful, I would say, pastiche of design elements from a bunch of different firearms. It definitely has like powerful Deagaloff vibes to it, but it's beautiful illustration. It's practical. It used a cool cartridge. Not that 50 Action Express would really be a PDW cartridge as well, but it's definitely an interesting choice to make and helps fill out the Sosig arsenal in an interesting way. This wouldn't sort of duplicate something that exists, and I don't know, just there's something about the combination of the lines that I really like, and it has that ineffable, like, it feels like more than just a machine pistol, which is what PDWs should, that's a vibe it should have. So this is the one that really jumped out to me. Excellent work, the Snowman, and I look forward to seeing a Sosiggun version of this. On to our next category, which is the designated Markswiener rifle category. This was another one that there was definitely a few confused entries in terms of like, I don't know if anything has ever been designated a DMR that was a lever action. But there were only so many categories, and obviously folks are going to design a firearm that they think is neat, which is cool, and that was the whole point of this process. So let's dive in. In third place, speaking of lever actions, I give you from Waptor the Long Hunter in 600 Nitro Express. Just look at that sucker. I love the look of it. This definitely felt like a little bit of an Anton Please sort of wrapped in an entry, and I know several people have been like, can you please make a lever action that takes a detachable magazine, which I'm sure I'll get around to at some point. But points for big honking round. Love the design, the sketch. I don't know, there's something neat about it to me. Like if you could have a lever action that could handle the, I don't know if there's a lever action that can even handle 600 Nitro Express. It might have to be one of the really heavy duty bolt designs on it. But yeah, this one jumped out at me. Very nicely done. Thank you for the entry, Waptor. Man, that sucker would kick like a mule. In second place, we have a little bit of a ridiculous entry, but I like this one for its gumption. We have from Keystroke Cascade, Drop Bear Arms. We have the what's this sucker called? The Gas Giver. That was the other. Not good names definitely jumped out on me. This one is technically speaking a 5.56 NATO, but really it's a 3.78 rifle, as the compressed gas is used to fire the entire round. What's that Portal 2 meme? It's 70% more bullet per bullet. This is the small arms version of that of that concept, and it just had the perfect sort of like je ne sais quoi of why would you build that, and my goodness, that's hideous. And I think it would take a lot of compressed gas to fire a whole 5.56 round in a way that would actually do some damage. That decided to to give this one some recognition. Thank you for the entry, Keystroke Cascade, for the ridiculous gun. And then finally, our winner of the designated Marks Wiener contest that will be turned into a Sosiggun in some form. Obviously decimated in detail a little bit because it's a Sosiggun. But this one just tickled me involved for its punny name and its clever construction. I give you from Pomodoro 032 the Bullpup. Yes, I know it's funny that I'm picking bullpup weapons here, but we have a design here. I don't know. There was something about the proportions here. Mag on the top will always will always jump out at me, and yeah, I looked at it, and between the proportions and how the magazine is mounted, I was like, that will be distinct. That will, once again, it isn't duplicating a Sosiggun that is in the game. Obviously, these are Sosiguns, so it's definitely going to get some chibi proportions. But I dig just like the vertical 4 handle, mag up top, and sort of offset scope. This will make a cool looking Sosiggun, and given that the Sosigs are incompetent, their military should definitely contain at least one, possibly more, bullpup firearms. So, well done, and thank you for your entry, Pomodoro 032. All right, on to our third category. It is time to take a look at our future Sosiggun sidearm entries. Our first one here in third place is a futuristic looking piece for sure from the company Griller and Filler by Crit Chance, the AAH. The, anti-gravity assisted handgun. Pretty cool looking design. Dig the art. I must admit, I'm totally a sucker for that sci-fi, like, there's a hole in the side of the gun with, like, lightning things that happen every time it fires. So I dig the look a lot. It's neat. Really, the only thing I'm dinging on is, like, 45 ACP? Really? Really? For our future sidearm? I don't know. I know there's definitely some, Anton loves 1911s. What if I make it the 1911 cartridge? But that's the only thing that definitely gives me a bit of quoi about this. But otherwise, just really great design, great presentation of it. Thank you for the entry, Crit Chance. Awesome looking stuff. In second place, we have what is easily the best, like, vault build entry that anyone submitted here. I was just floored by this one, and honestly, to the winner of this, please send me the text file of the vault entry, because I want this in my vault to shoot. It is gorgeous. This is from the company name Herm Bergeson Company from Tulacot. The Bergman V6. Just look at that. I mean, I'm a sucker for just the Bergman lines in general, but that is just, I wouldn't think that old and new combo would go so well together, but there's just something about the proportions of it all, the way the laser is integrated there. It's like, yeah, it's just got that, like, long in the front and then a little thick at the end. It's just, this is a handsome design. Absolutely love it. Gorgeous stuff. I believe this is in fiction. It's more of like a laser weapon, which is cool. Just chef's kiss to your design. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. Thank you for your entry, Tulacot. And send me the vault file. And then last, our winner in the sidearm category, a machine pistol. with a presentation form to build it that was unconventional, that I loved as much as just the shapes of it, and think is exactly the sort of pew pew that the future Sosiggun weapon set needs. I give you, what's this called again? The MA20 Pocket Toaster from Crazy Lego Waluigi. Absolutely, this just made me squeal, because I used to love making sort of like fictional guns out of Legos. Back in my day, we didn't have as many of these perfect fangled pieces to get cooler shapes out of them. But yeah, it definitely, obviously, because it's made of Legos, gives a lot of room for interpretation of the exact shape. But yeah, it just fulfilled the need for something sort of futury. I love the idea if it's like superheated, tiny rounds that it fires. And as I said, just having something that just had a little bit of like some like Buck Rogers ray gun vibe to it, and the sort of like two-stage sort of transparent sort of hollowy sight on the top just made this. It's just, I felt it in my gut. I was like, this right here, this needs to be the future Sosig's sidearm. So thank you for the entry, Crazy Lego Waluigi, and I hope you like the Sosiggun rendition to come of the Pocket Toaster. So, on to our beefiest category. It's time for the squad level support weapon category. This one was quite difficult. There were a lot of just cool, big honking guns in this category in terms of submissions, but I had to narrow it down here. So let's dive on in. In third place from the Paladin Arms Company, from user Darren Tai, the Saber LMG, which just, man, that looks beefy right there. Dig the lines. That, I'm such a sucker for that like backwards like triangle handle kind of thing. I don't know exactly how comfy it would be to fire, obviously, but just like that's what an LMG should be there. Just like big old drum mag, big honking lines. That looks very nicely done with the design. I dig it. Great stuff, and just amazing presentation. Fantastic art here. Well done, Darren Tai. Thank you so much for the entry for the Saber LMG. Next up, we have a one that just had me in stitches. This was just fantastic writing, fantastic ideation. If you like, you absolutely have to look up this entry so that you can just like read all the little details and the ridiculous concepts that are in it. From Aerospace Coffee Machine Company, user Enceladus32, I give you the IPS CM40, which, what is it? Is a revolutionary, as in its mechanism involves revolving cogs. New weapon that combines electronic firing, sprocket operation, thermal plasma, caseless ammunition, and French press coffee making into a compact and effective design. From a gun mechanic standpoint, this is easily the trolliest entry by far, most committed to its shtick, which just warms my trollish heart. Just great illustration, hilarious ideas. I love it. This is such a niche form of humor here. I love that there is an entire French press in the stock of the weapon. This was a scream to read, and I recommend everyone take a few minutes out of your day and jump over and check it out, because it's just hilarious. Thank you for the entry, Enceladus 32. This might have been easily the most ridiculous one from a mechanical standpoint. So well done. And then our winner for the squad level support weapon, which will look absolutely ridiculous with a Sosig wielding it, it had to be done. The drawing was charming, and the mental image of a Sosig trying to fire this and failing to control it, I couldn't give it up. From Glizzy Industries, user Fuzzy the Cat, Metal Storm. That's right, it's just a giant box with 16 preloaded barrels. The Sosig will not be reloading this one, just stacked up. This is going to have a absolutely preposterous fire rate. Probably going to take its rate of fire a little bit down from where it's stated in the document, but this is definitely going to be a horrible cloud of bees. If that's a pit in your stomach forming, thinking about what it's going to be like when one of these comes around the corner and taken hold in Ricky Random once it's done, you can thank user Fuzzy the Cat for that nightmare. So, wonderful entry, and just saw it needed to happen. This is the appropriate squad level support weapon for the future Sosig. Well done. Thank you again for the entry, Fuzzy the Cat. And now for our final category, the coup de grace of it all, the main battle rifle. The idea that in many ways, this is the most important of all of the firearms to get right, to nail, to make sure that it's the thing that the future Sosig should be armed with. The largest number of them will be carrying it. It needs to feel right and be exemplative of the future Sosig warrior. And so let's dive in and take a look at some fantastic entries here. In third place, we have from I shudder at trying to, here you go, here's Anton mispronouncing things here, from Osterhovel Maskenering from user Free272. I give you the LDAG 60, an absolutely sweet looking rifle. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's got this, I don't know, I feel like if Arcane's latest Prey game had a bullpup rifle in it sort of thing, it feels like it would be sort of like this. It's got an almost like P90 meets Art Nouveau sort of vibe to it, and I dig the design. Yeah, it definitely, like, it lands its space gun in a way that's really productive. It's got to be so heavy though, just looking at just how much brass that is. This would be a dense rifle to carry, and it definitely looks like it would be even harder to get a magazine into this than into a P90, especially given it's like curved here. But a really neat design, great looking art, fantastic entry. Thank you very much for the great main battle rifle entry, Free272. Great stuff. In second place, we have maybe the most committed entry to its pun, which had me absolutely in stitches laughing. So thank you for that. Even with a novelty account name with the submission from Man with Plan 44, I give you D1 for you, the 4-barreled, 4-triggered, 4-magazine, 4-charging handle, 4-stocked rifle of nightmares. Firing, what is it, 4.4 by 44 millimeter caseless quad force with a 444 millimeter barrel length. For when one needs to, where is it? There's rantings about the dirty 3 worshippers being taken down with the power of D1 for you. Truly a memes given firearm form. I respect the shtick. I respect the commitment. Great art. My goodness. This is, and still feeling right in line with the sort of madness that that H3 has. So an appropriate entry, and you gave me a hearty laugh. So thank you again, Man with Plan 44, whoever you are, for the fantastic entry D1 for you from Quad Corp. Ridiculous. And now our final winner of this contest for the main battle rifle, one that it took me, when I was looking at this, a little too long to realize exactly the shtick that was going on here, exactly what was being clowned on. This entry from United Enterprises Inc., Hans Nightingale. I give you the STG-20, the Nightingale, which, if you're looking at it then going, wait a minute, that's a little familiar. Why does that... Oh, it's like a futuristic version of the Xiao Xiao, which immediately makes me go, do I make it so that Sosigguns can fail? Because if one should, it should definitely be this one. The paired futuristic design with 8x50mm label rimmed, which is definitely not in a Sosiggun yet, so it adds another type of round to it. It's just this right here. It might not be what a Sosig needs, but it's absolutely what a Sosig deserves. And that's what made it leap out relative to the other entries and deserve our main battle rifle first place. So thank you again for the ridiculous entry, Hans Nightingale. These Sosigs are going to be in good, well, not hands, but yeah, they'll be well armed. Nope, don't have arms. They'll have great guns with thanks to you. So thank you again, Hans Nightingale. So for those of you who are still here, thank you so much for watching along and seeing our wonderful and zany entries. I definitely recommend shoot by the subreddit, pull up the post if you haven't yet, with all of the entries. Folks put a lot of fun time in. There's some great creative writing, some really, if you're into like in-joke gun humor, there is tons of it here. And I just want to put out the biggest thank you to everyone who took the time and made entries for this contest. I read them all. It took a while. It took a while to sort through all of these. I had to make a spreadsheet just to sort and keep track of and score and rank all of these. So thank you again so much for doing this. I'm always overwhelmed at the participation in these contests. And to the winners, I am going to I'm gonna collate all of the imagery here and get it over to my Sosig artist, Ben Gummer, who's a champ, who keeps making ridiculous things, and this will definitely be the most ridiculous set of things that he's been handed thus far to make for the game, and these will find their way into the game in the first quarter of this year. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see exactly how these are probably going to show up in Sosigs and Ricky Random first, because that just feels like the appropriate place to debut them. So anywho, I'm gonna head off for now. I am still just, relaxing and playing games and trying to recover from this was quite a year. A lot of things to do, and obviously 2021 has started off with a bang. But anywho, next week I will have a bit of a roadmap. Really some sort of like roadmap's a little bit too. I'll have the here's what's coming next for the first part of the year video, and then we're going to get back into things. The first update this year for the game is going to be mainly a maintenance update. I have collated like 30 or 40 browser tabs worth of bugs and little things that need to be tweaked. A bunch of meat miss guns have some stuff that was wrong with them because I had to race through that to get them in. And so yeah, so that's going to be the first update of this year, is going to mainly be just tuning up a bunch of things and sort of me getting back in the flow of things. And I'll talk more about sort of what the big content focuses for the first part of the year are going to be in a video next Friday. So I will see you then. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. I hope we can all have a wonderful, safe, and healthy 2021 together. And obviously, keep tuning in for more meaty hijinks. And I'll see you all soon. Peace.